Now, sports from the First National Bank Sports Desk. First National Bank of North Platte, the bank to think of first.
Chris Cottrell in on KNEB.TV here today. Not quite at the sports desk, but talking a little sports with one of the area's best in Sabastian Harsh. Had the big weekend in Laramie at the University of Wyoming. Sebastian, thanks for coming in early this morning. I know I got you up before your Monday morning alarm.
Yeah, it's all right. I kind of had my parents getting on me a little bit this morning, trying to wake me up. So, it was okay.
Okay, I'm glad you're here. Let's set the record straight. Within the last 24 hours, you make the announcement you're going to go to the University of Wyoming. You told me this morning when you walk in, it's a preferred walk-on, so they'll get you there for campus for a year, and then hopefully get you on scholarship for the final 4 years. Kind of break that down.
I had a meeting with Coach Bull, and he kind of broke it down for me. He told me, look, if you come in here and do what you're supposed to academically and work out with the team and show us that you're working for it, then you'll be on scholarship the next 4 years. And so I think it's a great deal. All I have to do is do my part of it and keep my word. And I think he'll keep his word, and he's a good man, so I think it'll all work out.
What have you learned about taking care of business and taking care of that stuff here in the last few months? The sports stuff you've always been able to take care of. What have you learned about taking care of responsibilities to make sure you're in the best position possibly or for yourself to move forward?
I learned that, you can't play sports without the academics, and everything comes with a price. And for sports, that is the academics in the classroom. So I learned to not, put things off or anything like that, get my stuff done early, and then I won't have to worry about it the next week. And so, it's definitely kind of it's a little different now that I'm trying to do it now. So, but I think it's working out well, and I'm ready to do it at the college level too. So
yeah, better late than never, and you've got a bright future in front of you on all fronts. I think a lot of people might not know, Wyoming has been the school for you for a long time. Whenever you were able to finally get the word from Coach over the weekend, that had to mean a lot. But you've wanted to go to Wyoming ever since you kind of thought about playing college football, right?
Yeah, and so, it was around my junior year. It was about the end of my junior year when I was starting to get looks from colleges, like South Dakota State, UNC and Nebraska and stuff like that. And so, Wyoming came in, and Coach Moore did a great job recruiting me that first year. And so, I was kind of on the border about like where I wanted to go at that time. And then coming into my senior year and over that summer, Coach Moore just stayed in contact the whole summer and was trying to, get on me about, schoolwork and all that stuff. So, and, I think he created a really good bond and like a relationship with me. And so, this going in through my senior football season, he was checking up on every single week, like what grades I was getting, what schoolwork I needed to turn in, if I had a test this day, and then also keeping up on the games and just like my personal life, and that kind of meant a lot. So then, just going on that visit, it was just a great experience and kind of just sealed the deal.
And even early in basketball season, Coach Moore, Shannon Moore, I think he's the tight ends coach, and he's the state of Nebraska recruiting coordinator for Wyoming football. We saw him up in Gillette.
Yeah.
He came up to watch basketball, and then a couple of weekends ago, he sat right there with your mom and dad at Cheyenne East, and that night you really tried to ball out.
Yeah,
you were going hard Friday night when he was at East, weren't you?
Yeah, whenever he shows up, I try hard whenever I have a game, but when he shows up, it's like a different feeling. I got to go crazy good. So. But no, he's a really good guy, and I really appreciate him for showing up to the games and stuff like that. In basketball, it's not like I wouldn't say my forte, but it's not my main sport. So but it does show a lot of commitment for him to come down and watch games like that.
Hey, Friday night up at Abe Lincoln in Denver, talking about not your forte. You did a great job Tajani Bamba is a kid that's going to play D1 basketball at Washington State. He scored 27. But after the game, talking with Coach on the post-game show, we were raving about your ability to handle him man-to-man defensively. And then Coach Golian kind of went off and just said, look, you got to hand it to Sebastian. He's playing basketball. He's coming off the bench after being not just the man in town, but the man around the state in high school football season. And you're just playing a role on the basketball team, but you're doing it with your buddies. You're doing it for the love of being a kid, playing with your friends. How much enjoyment do you get out of playing basketball with your friends?
You know, it kind of means the world to me, you know, especially this last year, being my last year here, you know. I just kind of want to make the most memories that I can, and if I can do it with my friends, then that's even better. And, you know, I know most of the guys on the basketball team, you know, like Cy, Chance, they want to go and play, you know, like at college level basketball. And so, you know, they did their part during football season to get me to where I am and help me out. So I was just going to do my part and do as hard as I can to, you know, help them out. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Let's go back to football. You talk about going crazy and playing well in front of coaches, man. I've been seeing it since I've told this story a bunch. I've been seeing you play football since 4th grade. I knew how good you were going to be even when you were a 4th grader in the Carpenter Center League playing with your dad as a head coach. And let's fast forward to this year. What a special season, not just for the team, but for you individually. Carrying the team on your back, especially when Jacob went out with the foot injury in the playoffs. The minute Jacob went out, what was your mindset knowing that so much of the load was going to fall on your shoulders?
I just kind of took it as a challenge. I didn't really see it as like a problem for me, you know. So I just kind of took it as a little chip on my shoulder and decided that I needed to work a little bit harder to pick up the load that, you know, he couldn't carry anymore. And so I felt that I kind of owed it to my team and to my coaches and to the community around me. So, you know, they give me a lot. So why not try my hardest and give it back to them?
What was amazing was talking to opposing coaches. I make calls on Monday or Tuesday. Talked to Coach Hall on Tuesday morning at around 8:45. I'd talk to the opposing coach maybe Monday or Tuesday morning also. And just some of the comments that the opposing coaches would give me about you as a player, I mean, I could go back and listen to them, and really it was a broken record. Everybody just saying, this is one of the best guys we've ever watched on film, period. So when you know coaches feel that way about you on the opposing sideline, how does that make you feel?
It kind of makes me feel a little bit less nervous, you know, because I know that the teams are a little bit more worried about me, you know, and so it's kind of like, well, you know, they're already worried, so, you know, I don't have really anything else to prove. It kind of seems like I've already proved it, so just keep doing the things that I'm doing, and it'll keep working out, and it kind of did.
So many memories from the postseason. I know things didn't turn out the way you wanted in the state championship game, but my goodness, let's start at Roncalli. What a night, you and Jack Dotzler. I mean, of course, there were so many big plays made by so many guys, but you and Dotzler put up an epic showdown that really has got to go down in the history books in the state of Nebraska. What was it like out there on the field that night, putting up the numbers you were putting up, and you had to put every single one of them up, or else it might not have been in the win column?
Yeah, well, it was a crazy game for sure, and you know, it's just a credit to their team and Jack Dossler for being the player he is, and you know, the competitor he is. And so during the whole game, I was basically nervous every single play, honestly, because you know, going against their offense, you know, they could score in one play and you know, do it again the next drive and the next drive again. So coming out, you know, it was just kind of like we need to take advantage of every single play we get, and I felt we did that. For most of the game, you know, except for the plays, you know, they were getting. So, but, you know, it was definitely a team effort, and, you know, we worked together in the end. So.
Then a week later, a little over a week later, Monday of Thanksgiving, great night for high school football for the Class B state championship game. You knew how much of the load was going to be right there on your shoulder pads. You guys get off to the great start. I'm sure in the moment you weren't thinking much about the replay call that didn't go your direction because you had to get to the next snap. What do you have to say about a kid like Tyson Gordon being able to – I mean, no one tackles you, Sebastian.
Exactly.
And
it was a little different.
He knifes in there and makes the play. Just another great player, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's a really outstanding player. And, you know, he's been making plays like that since, you know, I was watching film and, you know, since he was like a sophomore and even last year as a junior. And so – no, he's definitely a big-time player, and I'm excited to see what he does at NDSU. So
then we get down to the final few minutes of the ball game. You guys get the touchdown. I bet you was there even a thought about not going for two? I mean, your smallest rush on the drive was like 3 or 4 yards, and if you just get that, you guys go up by 1. So a no-brainer for Coach Hall to snap it to you and run right or left. It didn't go your way. What was the mood in the locker room or along the sideline like with the coaching staff and the guys after the game after such a heartbreak?
You know, it's definitely emotional. You know, we've been on a journey this whole season, and even last year we came short too. But I feel like, you know, we even came closer that day to each other. You know, we really understood after seeing the emotions that came out that, you know, people really cared about each other on this team. And so It was kind of a heartfelt moment, and it just kind of was a little bit of a realization to me that there was people around me that cared that much about us playing sports, and not just us playing sports, but us as people, and just kind of human beings.
I'm sure you've had a lot of people reaching out to you in the last day or so. As you look forward to heading to Laramie to play football at the Division I level, what's it mean to you to just get to keep playing this sport that you're so dominant at?
It's basically everything to me. Ever since I was in Carpenter Center, I've been telling my parents that I wanted to go to the NFL someday, and buy them a house and stuff like that. Support them for all that they've done for me, and I keep saying it to this day. You can ask them too, and so. It's definitely a blessing to get this opportunity, and I think the University of Wyoming will be able to get me there and support me on my journey and help me perfect my craft. So.
Whether it's Coach Moore, Coach Bowl, or the guys that are in the program now, when you've made your trips up to Laramie, and I know you were there for some Saturday game days this year, what about the culture, the atmosphere, just being there makes you feel at home and makes you want to be a part of it?
Yeah. So, when I go to games and stuff like that, you basically never see very many people on their phones, and, I think that's a really big thing. They're into the game, and they're watching it and cheering for every single play, even the small one. And that's kind of a big thing for me. I want the fans to be into the game, watching it and everything. So that was kind of definitely a big thing too. The atmosphere of the game was super loud. They got the beer song too. So it's kind of a crazy place to play. So.
How about the talent that has been dripping through Scottsbluff High the last few years? Back-to-back years, Garrett goes to Nebraska. You're going to walk on for a year before you go on scholarship now at Wyoming. Not to mention everyone else. The amount of talent that's been coming through Scottsbluff on the football field has just been insane, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy to see how much athleticism has been going through these last couple of years. And, that's just kind of a credit to how hard people work here in Scottsbluff. Even next year, we're going to have some good talent. Brett Hill, Tyler Smith, Evan Hegum, even those guys are going to be even really good. So, it's just kind of crazy to see how much athleticism and talent's going through this high school right now.
Now, obviously, being the best guy on the field just about every time you step out there, things will change a little bit for you now. Yeah. Everybody at Wyoming was one of the best guys on their own high school football team or in their conference or state. So what do you think is an area you've got to start to improve on or lock in on more to become the best you can be, to be a contributor and kind of fulfill some of your own dreams?
So basically just like film study, understand the schemes and the plays that the coaches are going to be calling, and, make sure to give my all every single time in practice, not hold back anything. And then lastly, probably the weight room, get in the weight room, get stronger, get faster, and be kind of comfortable in that setting, and I think it'll all work out.
Now, as far as the end of basketball season, I know how important, you touched on it, how important it is to you, not only for you, but you want to give your all for the guys that basketball is their number one thing. So you guys are 14-2 right now. Mm-hmm. It's been a great season. You play an amazingly tough schedule. What do you guys have to do to kind of reach your peak here in the final month and a half, get to Lincoln and do some damage?
Keep pushing, don't take a team lightly. And during like the first two quarters, we usually come out slow, and that's kind of hurt us in the two games that we lost. And so I definitely think it's just kind of, we need to push the pace a little bit more. That's kind of our game of basketball. We're athletic, so we can run. We don't really like to sit around and do too much, like just kind of chill. So I definitely think that, if we just kind of come together as a team, and keep bonding and getting more chemistry during practice, and I think we'll be a really good team in the state championship. So.
Well, I know when my partner on Friday nights, Mike Holly, made the announcement he was taking the new job up at Valentine as the superintendent there. He got a hold of me one night before the news even broke to tell me he wouldn't be able to broadcast Scottsbluff High School football with me anymore. And I can remember us distinctly sitting there chatting on the phone saying, hey, at least we're going out on a high note. Yeah. And we got to watch Sebastian absolutely wreck shop for a couple of years. So just want to wish you best of luck. Congratulations on your decision, big fella. And best of luck to finish up basketball season. And I know everybody here in the Panhandle will be keeping an eye on you when you get to Laramie.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Sabastian Harsh, kind enough to come in on a Monday morning. Glad to bring it to you on KNEB.TV.